Understandable if you're nervous. I'm nervous right now. It's all right. It's all right to be nervous. But a lot of times when you're up and you're in front of people, especially when we're involved in social change, that people want you to do good. They want you to get your message across, and they want to help. If somebody shows up to the event, that's because they're interested in some type of change. And it's also important that you prepare yourself, because each of us have a mission, and we're fighting for a section inside of our community to create change. So it's important for us to take the time, take that extra time. If you stumble over words, if you forget things, if you're nervous, really take the time and prepare for this. Because when you do that, then that gives not only you, but the people in the section of the community that you're trying to help, it gives them the best opportunity to change.
We think maybe then it'll come to them, but a lot of people do not actually listen.
And I think the only way that shift is to be around people who have. It's not a learned trait, and if we let them, like the person who doesn't actively listen, don't give them tons of time, maybe like feed your dishes, but like to actually recreate what they've said sometimes, like people don't have a lot of experience of being listened to, and you can't practice it if you haven't experienced it either.
But that doesn't mean that we have to manipulate and respond in the same way. We aren't going to make the progress we want, but accepting that we can slowly shift their mind, heart, and will through genuine conversations, I think is something that we should always keep in mind, and that it's going to take hundreds, maybe thousands of conversations, but that doesn't mean it's not worth doing. It doesn't mean we should walk away. We should continue to have hundreds of conversations to try to slowly make those shifts. Yeah.
Interest in partnering with them, because I want to spend money so I can help you make money or provide something you need. So you got to wipe the slate clean sometimes when you've done what you've done and you think you've got everything and given everything. Wipe it clean and say, I just get the vibe is, something's not, either there's no understanding here, or maybe I'm not answering your questions. What kind of questions you got? Do you need some clarity? It's setting the slate clean and trying to rebuild that relationship again. Sometimes that's what's required.
Okay, does anybody have a plastic bottle or any kind of piece of plastic close to you that isn't one of those really usable kinds? Anyone? Hold it up. Plastic cup is fine. Plastic, good, good, good. All right, does anybody, good, plastic bag, good. Okay, does anybody have any paper that you're probably going to throw away or recycle sooner or later? Paper, good, good. Okay, does anybody have an apple core? One, good. Well, did you know that all that stuff has carbon in it, right? The bottles, the papers, the apple cores.
For a ceremony with folks from the Missionary community who've been leading that water ceremony for 20 years. And it was really powerful experience for me, and I'm really grateful that I got to be there as the sun for spring was coming up. And that sense of possibility capacity of youth days and our capacity to actually feel things in the community. So I felt like our community was with me, and that the sense of regeneration with spring and all of us out there is really high. So thank you for inspiring me all throughout the semester moving forward. It's really fantastic to be in a community that's following a very long, long history of regeneration in Irvington. So if you, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, and they led the Thanksgiving address in native language, so I couldn't hear all the words, but because we've done it together, where I shared it with you, I knew what was being said. So let's start with gratitude. If you can turn to the person next to you and just share what you're grateful for in the past week.
Under the illustrious Lorna Hill. It is a pleasure and a blessing every single day. So I am an artist at heart. I'm the company manager at Ujima, and I am a justice advocate through and through, which speaks volumes to our work. And in our presentation today, we're going to leave you with the question of who has the right to beauty, and who can access its creation and harvest the richness of its fruits.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. We are your last presentation today, and we feel honored to be the last and to leave you with this message of sustainable creativity. I'm Galia Binder. I'm a social practice artist in the city. I'm an artist activist. And what I'm wondering about is that for far too long, the city of Buffalo has defined the answer to our question of beauty and who has the right to it in a singular term, right? Those with privilege. So, this answer really denies critical access to our beloved community. Buffalo's arts and cultural scene is highly touted, increasingly so in this moment of quote-unquote renaissance, right? However, frontline community members, artists, and organizations are repeatedly excluded from our city's renaissance and creative industries.
Which is why we came together and created the Frontline Arts Buffalo, also known as FAB. We're going to be up and coming, catch us outside, and you'll see us everywhere, just wait for it. For our first phase right now, we are 4 organizations that are theater and visual arts based, so it's Ujima, African American Cultural Center, Locust Street Art, and El Museo. Of course, this is going to grow as time comes on. We were born out of the Crossroads Collective, and our focus really is on frontline neighborhoods in Buffalo. So those could be the west side, the east side, and the Fruit Belt, for example.
All right, next slide. Okay, so I also think we need to take a minute to define frontline, right? What do we keep talking about when we say frontline? So frontline communities are most often communities of color, low-income communities, women, right, LGBTQ folks, and frontline communities are those on the front lines of many of the issues facing the world today. Poverty, ecological challenges, right? Like for instance, if you look at the east side of Buffalo and the toxicity even in the ground there, and we just had someone talking about how impossible it is to even plant fruits and vegetables there. So those are the communities on the front lines of the complex issues facing us all. And so we have 3 core intentions called HEY.
So first is to become heard. We're going to challenge the narrative, change the way the stories are being told. Next is to expose the conditions of precarity. How are these organizations currently living? Clearly we're not thriving, we're just simply surviving. And why would be for yield and creativity? How do we create processes that are creative to create sustainable solutions?
All right, so our next steps. So currently, Frontline Arts Buffalo is a large committee. Just 2 of us are here today, but Lorna Hill heads the committee, also Elizabeth Walsh does as well, and we have representatives from all of the 4 organizations. And so what we're doing is, over the next few months, we're hosting community forums. So particularly geared towards those folks that have grown up in these institutions and organizations and have been a thriving part of them. But also, if you're curious and want to get involved, we welcome you to the conversation. We're going to create a digital museum and hopefully one day sort of material museum of these organizations, right? So we're going to ask community members to bring in their old photographs of like taking a workshop at Ujima when they were 12 years old. You know, old videos, you know, poems that they wrote, paintings that they created at these organizations. And we're going to photograph them, scan them, and also hopefully have them in person. And we're also going to be creating multimedia work with the founders of these organizations. And this is really rich and valuable information that's often edited out of our city's dominant narrative or erased. So even just getting to share in that and have access to that information is radical in and of itself, we believe.
So how can you help us? We ask that you show up and show out. Our community forums are going to come up towards the end of this year. Bring a friend, bring someone who's never been to El Museo or Locust Street or Ujima or the Paul Robeson Theater. Be a part of the process, have conversations. We want to hear your story. Bring all of that artwork. Bring the stories and the history that you have. Bring the friends that share in that history. And of course, as all artists, we ask for money because we need money to survive. And in order to start it, we are going to need the funds to keep it going. So finally, we currently are working on our website. You can check out any of the organizations that are in our collective right now through their own website. You can contact me directly. I am the keeper of Fab Logistics currently, so you can email me if you want more information or if you want to be a part of that circle. And lastly, we want to leave you with this quote from Tony Bambara. The role of the artist is to make the revolution irresistible, so we're asking you all to join in that revolution with us.
Ashe,